Well, good evening, everybody. This is Chris Ubing, and what I'm going to do tonight is we're going to test the resistivity of Play-Doh. To do this lab, you are going to need the following supplies. You're going to need a can of Play-Doh, and you will also need a ruler, and you will need, and I have to find it, there it is, a pair of calipers to measure the cross-sectional area. So let me begin by rolling out the Play-Doh. I'm going to try and make it as long as I can, but I really want to keep it about 2 centimeters in diameter. For one thing, it keeps things stable. And the other thing is that it'll make it, we're testing the dependence of resistance on length. So having it at a reasonable length and a reasonable diameter, we should be able to get some decent results from this. Excuse me. So I'm going to roll this dough out, and I'm going to try and roll it out as best I can so that it is as even as it possibly can be and as long as it can possibly be. But it has to be both. It has to be even diameter, meaning that if we make it too chunky in one area and too skinny in the other area, we have essentially ruined the experiment. So I would rather sacrifice length for even diameter. So here I am rolling my dough, so to speak. Now there's a couple of things we need to do in this lab. Number one, we are going to test the resistivity of Play-Doh. We are also going to test whether or not Play-Doh is ohmic. By ohmic, I mean that the graph of current versus voltage is going to be linear. And for ohmic materials, which is what most resistors are made out of, the graph will be a straight line. But for other materials where they're not ohmic, you will get some other kind of curve. So here's the best I can do. I think this is reasonably even. Let's take a look, make sure that it's the same diameter or as close to the same diameter as we can, and we'll just have to accept the error in that. So I want 20 centimeters. I'm sorry, not 20 centimeters, 2 centimeters. I got 2 centimeters here. I've got a little less than 2 centimeters here, and a little less than 2 centimeters here. So let me just do a little bit more rolling, and we'll try and make this as even as we can, and I'll make it as long as I can. We want to test length first. So here I am. Let's see if this is going to work. There's my Play-Doh. Also note that the Play-Doh color is green. So starting from here, I get 2 centimeters. Middle, I'm at 2 centimeters, a little bit over actually. And here, a little over 2.1 centimeters. So I have here is about 2 centimeters, a little over like 2.1 centimeters, and 2.1 centimeters. Not too bad. We'll take it. Now the length of this little cylinder of Play-Doh is 18 and a half centimeters. So this is 18 and a half centimeters by 2 centimeters in diameter. Reasonable. So now here's what we're going to do. We are going to split this into 4s. So 18 and a half centimeters, 18.5 centimeters divided by 4 pieces is 4.63. That's a cruddy number to do, but we'll have to deal with it. So 4.63, almost 5, but we'll call it 4.6 for the sake of argument. So here's my ruler. I need to go 4.5. So I'm going to start 0 right here. And I'm going to drive this nail into the Play-Doh so it's at 0. And let me just knock it into the corkboard for a little bit, just to make sure that it stays put. So there is 0. The next is 4.6 away. 4.6 is going to be about here. So I'll put a little hole there just to make sure that I've got it. So that's 4.6. So the next data point is going to be at 9.2, which is roughly here. So there's my 9.2. Put a hole there. Okay, and take it out. The next one is 13.8. So that's almost 14. I'll put it right about here. So there's my 13.8. And the last part should be 18.4, so that'll be right here. So there we are. There are my 4 holes. Now, the procedure is as follows. What I'm going to do is I am going to take a voltage current reading on this particular configuration. So I need to set it up so that the voltage will allow 20 amps to pass through. Then I will cut this piece off and I will put the nail back in here and we'll measure the current and the voltage here. And then I will go on here and here. So I should have a few measurements. I should have roughly 4 measurements at different lengths. I'm going to measure the length, I'm going to measure the current, and I'm going to measure the voltage. So that's my game. So in the next video, I will do the experiment and we'll take a look at things.